Hello everyone, I'm back again here. On my last displaying of how to use PHP, I went into variables and getting started on basic of echoing and printing out and how PHP kind of works a little bit. In this tutorial, I'm going to actually show you how to use arrays. Can be two different ways. They can be a basic array, object array, or actually three different ways, my bad. They can be a basic array, which is a simple array which has a key to a variable. They can be a object array, which can have defined offsets a little bit. And then finally there is a multi-dimensional array, where you have an array with another array inside of it, which can have another array inside of it. You can have a lot of arrays inside of it. I'm just going to go right there. So, how do we get started on this? In this case, I'm going to open a new file. I have my basics PHP 2. You can find it on the same site that you saw last time on the last tutorial. So, I'm going to start off by defining my tag here. Doop. I'm going to use shorthand again. I'm going to click save. Now, we're going to define an empty array first, just to show you how you define an array. So I'm going to say my array is equal to array doot. So as you can see, array pops up as green, and then I had set parentheses to the left and parentheses to the right. That means I'm just defining my array. There's nothing that I'm setting into my array. I'm defining it. I'm saying this variable is going to be my array. Now, I defined my array, but it has nothing in it. Now I need to set something in it. There's multiple ways to do it, and I'm going to actually show you both ways. Actually, a couple ways, I should say. Not both ways. There's more than two. I'm going to say that now. So, I'm going to start off by going my array. So I'm going to call my variable. Now I'm going to use a left bracket and a right bracket. Now, me just setting nothing in this bracket means I'm defining it to just add on to my array. Is equal to, I'm going to say, first value. Okay, as you can tell, I have my first value. Now, I define my array, but you're going to probably be trying to do an echo. If you go echo my array, it doesn't quite work. I'm going to kind of show you that here. Boom, it just says array. When you're echoing from an array, it's just going to say, I'm an array. Now, that ain't very helpful whenever you want to know what's in your array, especially after you define some things and you go down the page and you try to recall that variable. So, how we're going to do that is I'm going to actually use two different things. I'm going to use HTML and I'm going to use PHP. So I'm going to go down here and just restart off with a PRE tag. Since I'm using basic, I'm done be echoing out to HTML. I would like you to define my variables on each new line, or each value inside my array on a new line. Next, I'm going to go right here, use my short tag again, and I'm going to go print R. Print R is the best way that you want to go whenever you want to print out an array. And then I'll define my array right here. As you notice, my thing keeps on adding a left freaking bracket. Don't know why, it just had a habit of doing it, but it allows me to define something or pull something. So, I'm going to end my tag here. So, I'm going to leave that array there where it says array, just to kind of keep that echo to show you that it doesn't display. This only displays array. And as you can tell right here, what I'm doing right here is called a comment. I'm making a small comment, 2 forward slashes. As you can tell, it turns yellow in my case. 2 forward slashes, and then you type what's after it. You can't go and type on a new line. It doesn't work. If you want to type on a new line to make a comment, you go forward slash, asterisk, new line, space, new line. As you can tell, everything turns yellow down below, and then I need to end it. Asterisk, forward slash. It allows you to make multiple lines for your notes or your comments or whatever you need to do. But I'm going to actually remove that in this case. So, we know the first part is only going to display array. Nothing else. That's really useless in our case. So, I'm going to go back to our page after adding this print R and click refresh. Now, I see array, and then I see array again. Well, the second one of array is actually coming from this print R right here. Now, this is found within the PRE tag, so it's actually anytime there's a line break that's not coded with a BR, it will break it in the page. And as you can tell, it's breaking it line by line. Now, you don't know the difference between a PR that's not in you don't know the difference between a print that's not in a PR and one that is in a PR. So I'm going to actually move this out of the PR here, or make one above it, and go enter. So if I click refresh, oop, my bad, it's still uploading here. There we go. So you can tell I see array. and it's all on one line. This is why I said in the the PRE tag is so that I can see each key to value on a new line within my array. So I'm going to actually remove this here so you don't have to worry about that. So we started off with our array. It's an empty array. Then we added a value, which was first value, to it. Now, as you notice over here, it says 0. When you start off on an array, it always counts from 0. If you know bits is 0, 1, 2, continuing. It doesn't start at 1 and go 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to actually always start at 0. Anything that goes by a method of bits, you always start at 0. Now, I'm not going to go into how bits work and how you get your bit numbers, especially if you want to do IP. You can look at another tutorial about IP and bit schemes and ANDing and all that information. So, continuing on, we have my array. We define a value to it. We just let it define its own key. Now, the key right here is blank. That means this right here is auto set. This is our key. This is our value for that key. So, now what happens if I want to set a specific key to have a specific value? Well, you do this kind of the same steps. So I'm going to go my array. Now, depending on how you want to define this key, do you want it to be a string or do you want it to be a number? If I want it to be a number, I can go 10 in that. Oops. Click enter, and I'm going to go, my key is 10. So I just defined my key of 10 right here with a value of my key is 10. So if I go and refresh this page here, my printer will have a key of 0 and a key of 10. So what happens if I do an empty key after that? So if I go right here, do an empty key, go enter, let's go Timmy. And you can use whatever you want. Your values don't have to be the same as mine. I'm just setting in different values to kind of show you the difference of how they add. So what I started off with is a blank, and I said first value. So that gave me the key of 0. Then I defined a key of 10, which is my key is 10. Now I defined a blank key, and I named it value of Timmy. Now the issue is what does it come out? Does it come out as 1? Does it come out 11? It should come out as 1 here. Not. That is because I already defined a key higher than what the key started out as. So the last key was numerical of 10. So it's going to go higher than that. Now what happens if I want to define a string to this? So let's define it as a string. Instead of a number, we're going to go string. And I'm going to name it string of, oops, I'm going to do double quotes here. You can actually use single quotes in this case, and I'm actually going to do that. Just kind of show you how to use single quotes. It's the same thing as doing double quotes. There's some methods that change a little bit, but overall you're not going to see the difference unless you go further in depth in PHP. In this case, let's set this as print. So in my array, I'm adding a key of print now. And it's going to have a value of print me, comma, please. Doop. So now I added print. So if I go and refresh my page, you're going to have 0, 10, 11 print. So now all my variables are defined. Now what happens if I set a blank variable in there again? There we go. Let's refresh the page. It goes up to 12. The reason why it didn't do any special shifting and it's not in number order is because it's only going in the order if I added it. There's special commands to do key sort, which will resort the keys to 0, 10, 11, 12, then print. Or print 0, 10, 11, depending on how you want to do it. But in this case, it just added another number onto it. Since anytime it's blank, it will always be numeric. It will never add on to a string. It will always be numeric. So whatever the last numeric number was, it will be 1 higher than it. Now, I have shown you how to set your variable in as a blank so it's numeric. I've showed you how to set in a specific number to it. And I've showed you how to set it as a string. Now, how do I display this information other than printing out my whole variable? Or how do I pull my information? So if I want to pull my information here, I'm going to set here, pull print from array. So I'm going to set a note here. And notes are nice to have, especially if you want to take your time and if you're writing a long source code or a long PHP script. Setting notes in will help kind of argument and allow you to really go through it much easier. A lot of people don't make comments, and when you go back to it after 2 months, 6 months, 2 weeks, sometimes a day, you might go, what was I coding? Anyways, it's just a kind of a fun thing I've run into many times. So I'm going to define this, and I want to print out. I want to actually echo out print in my array. Not in the PRE, but I want to just echo that variable out. So I'm going to go echo here. I'm going to do my line break like normal, because I want it on a different line from array, which is echoed up above. Now I'm going to call my variable my array. Now this is when the bracket comes very handy. So I have my left bracket. Now I need to define print. I need to go, I want print, and then semicolon. Now instead of having an equal sign after it, I just set a semicolon. That means I am just calling it. I'm not trying to set it. So basically, instead of set, I'm trying to get and pull, whatever you want to actually define that as, or however it's easier for you to understand. But right now, I'm just wanting to pull, give me the information is all I'm trying to tell it to do. So if I refresh my page here, you have array, print me please. So what I did is I pulled from print. Now what happens if I don't know if my variable is set, or sorry, not variable, my key is set inside my variable. Now this comes around a lot, especially if you're doing post information like form submission and all that. Your form actually information comes in as a post or a get, or you can use request, and that is actually a array of data sent to the server. Now if I want to verify that a key is set, I can go if. Now I'm going to be using an if statement here, and I'll go into more detail on that in a later tutorial. But I just kind of want to show you that you can display or check if your information is there before you display it. So if I go if is set is the command. Now I'm going to go into more detail on all this, but I just kind of want to show you that there's more to arrays than you think there is. Because a lot of people will just put in the array and then you get an error on the page randomly. If you ever seen that, that's because they never do a check and make sure it's there. I just want to show you the basic check. And the only things you need is an if, an is set, and then whatever you're trying to check. So I'm going to set another left parentheses around it. So I went if parentheses is set parentheses. Now I'm going to call my variable. So in this case, my variable is my array. And this is an array, so I'm going to actually try to find something. I'm going to type in print. Let's just go print. I don't feel like trying to spell anything special. In parentheses, in parentheses. Now, I started with one parentheses, and I had another parentheses, so I had two parentheses. After I define my variable, what I'm trying to check, I have to end those two parentheses. So in this case, I had 1, 2. And then finally, there's going to be a curly bracket. Sorry if I don't know the name off the top of my head here. I'm really bad at that part. And then I'm going to set an end curly bracket. So this means whatever's in between this will only run if this is true. That means if this variable right here is set. So I'm just going to go echo printy is set. Now, we know it's not set. I didn't define anything for it up here. All I have is 0, 10, print. There's nothing other than one string that is called print. I don't have printy. So if I refresh my page, you don't see anything change. It's going to actually show the same. Now if I go over here, let's just change print to printy. So I now change print to printy. Now I'm done refresh. Printy is set. Now another thing you didn't notice is there was no error thrown. This right here did not throw an error. That's because I don't have error reporting on. I can actually change that here real quick, and this can be better defined if you go to all the things. I'm just going to go E_all. Oops. This allows error reporting to be on full. Refresh the page. There you go. So now I get my errors. Array to string conversion. That is actually caused. Well, if you get these errors, these are kind of the easier way to define and figure out what it's causing. Array to string conversion. Echo is trying to echo a string. That is an array. That's one issue. My next one is undefined index. Index is referring to key. Undefined key right here. That's because that's not set. And then I have no other errors. That's because printy is already being checked. Now, does that cause an error if I change this back to print? Actually, It does not, because isSet is verifying if that variable is set or that key is set before trying to do anything with it. And in this case, when I do something with it, I don't do anything actually. I just check see if that's there, and then I go, hey, printy is set, guys. So if I refresh this right here, you don't see an error. It just disappears. That's what the if is set is for. It's to verify that this is set for me so I can do something with it or do something. And that's another way of checking if a variable has been set whenever you push into a database or you're pulling information or trying to get information from a form. So, just from those basics, you should be able to now be able to do variables, how to echo, how to print them, and how to combine a string with another variable. I will go into more details later on about loops, if statements, and everything, and you'll find those in later tutorials. But I hope you enjoyed this, and if there's any questions, leave a comment down below, message me, and if you like the tutorial, click like, favorite it, add it to a playlist, and thank you very much for your time. Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please leave a comment or like below. If you want to keep up with all activities on the channel, click subscribe. And if you would like to watch another video, there's some videos listed down below here. And thanks for watching.